So this is a quick Flutter demo just showing you kind of the difference between the material date picker and the Cupertino date picker. And this is one of those weird things that you can write an app in Flutter and have it run multiple places, but you really want the native experience. And when you do the native experience, suddenly it gets a little weirder. If you were going to do material or Fuchsia everywhere and just call it a day, then I think you'd be fine. But that assumes that your iOS customers are going to be cool with that. And the iOS widgets, the Cupertino widgets, really don't seem to work very well on the non-Cupertino platforms. So let me just show you real quick. So this is an adaptive card demo, which will be a different talk, but I'm just going to use it to generate the date picker. So on the left side, we have an iPhone 14. I'm going to pick this. And on the right side here, we have an Android device on the latest SDK. And let me see if I can scroll it up. Yep. So you can see at this point, the two of these look really the same. It's just Android slight differences with the bar at the top, but the code for this is identical. When we pick the picker, the one here on the left is we really want the Cupertino picker, and when the one on the right, we're going to want the Android picker, right? And so, like I said, if you do Fuchsia or Material, you're going to end up with the one on the right for both of them. And my real gripe about this isn't that we have two different pickers, because I think that's, the way it works. But the problem is that the APIs are different. The wraps around those are either more pure to keep the native function or something else. And the reality is that's where you go down a rabbit hole, right? You're either going to put custom code and switches everywhere in your Flutter code to get the two user interfaces, or you're going to do wrappers that give you a single API inside, and then you're going to basically create a compatibility library for the compatibility libraries. So I'm going to show you how this looks for me. So this is the adaptive card demo, and I'll put a link in the wiki. And basically the calling code, I wanted them to look the same. And I don't know if you can see this. I'll hopefully blow this up big enough. The calling code basically just calls a date picker for platform. This is really modeled after the Material API. And then whatever's returned, I did it this way. It's just going to do a set state and refresh, right? So if we go back to this thing, right? If I pick this and I click OK, you can see that the date's in there. When we bring it back up, we can pick this and we'll get another date, right? So that's cool. So it's just a simple API. Sometime after the user calls, we're going to call picker for platform, and then whatever result is returned by that, we're going to put in the date field, and it'll redraw because we're going to do a set state. So I just have this real simple date picker for platform, and basically it's got a switch in it that's hidden from the general code, and this is modeled after the Material Platform API, like I said, and that makes it super easy. Date picker for Material really doesn't have anything in it. It's a single line call, right? And that's because it actually was already set up to just return the value so that we could put it in the state. We didn't have to do anything complicated. It just works. So on the Cupertino side, it's not really that complicated either. All I had to do, well, we ended up doing a pop-up panel. Cupertino, and I got part of this from somewhere else, but there were changes because I wanted to make the output look the same so that the calling code didn't have two different event handlers everywhere, wherever that did a different. So I did this for a date and time picker, and basically we just have this code, and all it does is it returns the picked value. And this works. I didn't think it would actually work. I thought I'd have to do it in the pop, but I'll put a link on the video, and then you can go see this. But again, the whole idea was, yeah, you're going to have to do this a lot of places. Anywhere you're going to use Cupertino on your iOS device, you're going to end up with one of these freaky wrapper things. And so I did it here. That probably will work for other people for date and time picker, right? Because it turns out the date picker in Cupertino is all, the time picker in Cupertino is all time-based, or it's all date-based, because it's really the date picker, whereas the time picker in Material is actually time-based. So when we did the time picker for Cupertino, there's a whole bunch of casting back and forth to get it in and out of time of day, instead of being a date. And that's it. Have a great day.